Good morning, besties. Hello, loves of my life. How are we doing today? How are we feeling? How are we vibing? How are we doing? Welcome to our Blitz book talk. Now, I am starting this in the car. We're starting it a little bit differently than what we normally do here with book talks, which I think I've done a total of maybe 2. It's a sit down. It's not a car. It's not like a vloggy vlog. But I want to make this a little bit more chatty because it is our first ever book club pick. And I just want to, chat, talk to my besties. So, we're starting in the car. This morning, I have gotten myself a venti iced white chocolate mocha with toffee nut, my usual, because it's perfect and they haven't gotten rid of the toffee nut, so I'm going to keep ordering it. And we're having a day off today, and I thought, what a great time after I've sat with Blitz for a little bit to really get into my feelings on it. And not just my feelings on it. I have certain things that I'm gonna be talking about during this little video because I really believe that having a good discussion requires some question and answer, and I don't think that, obviously you can't answer me whilst I'm talking, but you can answer me in the comments, and I plan on leaving those same questions in the description for you. These are what I have come up with to better help all of us critically think about the books that we are reading. Now, this is a little romance book that, not all critical thinking is going to perfectly apply to every single romance book that we read, because also they're silly little romance books. We don't really have to critically think about them that much because they are meant more, for me at least, for entertainment and to make my brain go goodbye. So we have aspects of that fun escapism, but I also have questions so we can better understand what is working in a book and what isn't. So that way, once we get to the end of the year, actually, we're going to have a little bit of a criteria set. What do we like as readers? What don't we like as readers when it comes to specifically the romance genre, specifically the fantasy genre? My overall thoughts about Blitz, because I have overall thoughts and I have those specific thoughts. My overall thoughts. I should also tell you what I rated it. I did give it a 4 out of 5. So I gave it the exact same star rating as I give Coach. However, I think since, again, it's part of a series, you're gonna always run into this when it's interconnected standalones, when it's a series in general. I did like Coach better because I like Ford and Millie's second chance romance better. That's a me thing because I prefer that trope over the coach and athlete trope, which is okay. I also found this incredibly hot and incredibly entertaining at the end of the day, but I'm not going to lie to you and say that I loved this more than I liked Coach, because I really do still hold Coach to, I have it on a pedestal. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Ford is just so great. But overall, I enjoy the dynamics between Torin and Jensen. I think that they're interesting. I think that it's different than something I've read before. And I like that the coach-athlete aspect is outside of their sports. So, Torin is a football coach, but Jensen's a volleyball player. That's not her direct coach. I think if it was her direct coach, I wouldn't have liked it as much, because I have a teacher as my significant other. So I don't find teacher-student romances enjoyable. I think they're weird because I have a teacher as my partner in life. So I'm glad that they're not, like, he is not her actual coach, because that would bother me, essentially. I know that they're both adults and they're both consenting adults, but it would still irk me a little bit. But I like that they're not, so I enjoy that bit. In general, I think that they have insane chemistry, that it's feels like it's kind of sparking off the page, because whenever they are in a scene together, in a room together, in a moment together, it feels like they have to be right next to each other. Even as a reader, just reading that's how I can see it, and I love it. I love it so much. I need my characters to feel that way for me to have a believable connection to their romance. So, the smut. Now, Devney Perry likes to not disappoint me in this manner, and she never has. She's never once missed on a smut scene for me, and that's just a testament to how good she is as a writer. Her writing holds up, and she knows what she's doing, which is lovely to see. I will say, the reason it's not a 5 is because the third act conflict is an understandable one. I get it. But, and I love that it's not a third act breakup, because I fucking hate those. We all know this in this house. I am not a third act breakup kind of person. However, the conflict in general of Torin and Jensen, for me, gets resolved too quickly and too easily without much discussion about it, and then the book ends. So our resolution, we don't really get to see it come to much fruition. We just have to, cross our fingers, and then you get an epilogue, and apparently it's all okay. But I personally, as a reader, wanted it to last a little bit longer. Not last per se, but I wanted to see more about their actual resolution and how it was actually working for them, because just kind of vibing it, I feel like there would be a lot of issues that come up. But who am I to say? So those are my overall thoughts. The next clip you're going to see will be me sitting down, because I will be sitting down this time, and we're going to go through our critical thinking questions that I've written up, and we're going to discuss thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, all of those beautiful things together in those, because I think it's important to ask questions about the books that you're reading. And also, this is the last moment that there aren't spoilers. So that's your overall review. If you have not yet read our book club pick, I highly recommend it. I think it's really good. I think it's really fun, and I think that you would enjoy it. I can't say it's low stakes. It is, but it's not as suspenseful as Devney Perry's other work. So this is your last moment without spoilers. So if you haven't read the book, please go read Blitz and then come back and watch the rest of the book talk. But I don't want to spoil you. So this is your final warning, because we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of it. Okay? Okay. I love you. I'll see you once you finish the book. Did you click away though? Did you? Hope you did. Okay, so let's cut to Dorothy sitting down to do the critical thinking aspects of this. Okay, we're sitting down. We're ready to discuss Blitz by Devney Perry in full. So let me just pull out my questions. We have a full set of questions here to think about this critically. Okay. Again, if you have not read Blitz yet, for our book club, please go read it before you watch the rest of this. I know I already gave you a warning. I'm giving you another one just in case. Okay. Now then, let's talk. So the first question I have is, how strong were the character dynamics? Mainly speaking about the chemistry between our main characters, their relationships with the side characters. I felt like Torrin and Jensen's chemistry was pretty good. Like, when they're in a room together, when they're talking to each other, it feels like two normal human beings who would be in a room and talking to each other, which is always good because we want just a little bit of realism with our books. And it also felt like there was always this kind of dynamic, maybe not dynamic specifically, but like this spark of something more than just two people who are going to talk to each other. Every time that they were conversing, every time that they're in a scene together, every time that, Torrin is like, I can't be with her, she's a student. There always felt like, but I can't help myself. I'm falling for this person. And it was really, really, it really added to the narrative as a whole. Now, for their relationships with side characters, this is where we lacked a bit. Jensen doesn't really have much of a relationship with anyone outside of Torrin, which is a little bit frustrating. Granted, towards the end, she's building a little bit more of a friendship with her roommates and her teammates, but like also it's like she's not talking to anyone but Torrin. Yes, she has a dynamic with her mom that doesn't feel super supportive the whole time. So it's like, well, who is she gonna talk to? And the answer is pretty much no one. She's pretty much gonna talk to no one. And it's like, we need someone else here besides our two main characters. Torrin also kind of suffers from the same thing. We're not seeing him a lot talking to other people. Yes, we have the relationships with Ford and Millie, which we do see a little bit more, but it's not like, oh, we're going out to drinks, we're hanging out, I've got friends. It's always, we're at a work function, which I feel like I would have loved to have seen more of their friendship, considering that Torrin and Millie are supposed to be best friends. Ford and Torrin are supposed to be best friends. And I know that this is taking place concurrently with Coach, so maybe that's why we don't see it as much, because Ford and Millie are focusing on their relationship. But, like, I just need that little bit of extra oomph, essentially, for our characters to feel like real fleshed out human beings, where they have friends, they're talking to other human beings. Work and this relationship is not just their whole life, you know? Number 2, because this is a romance, how good was the smut? Now, normally, Devney Perry does not miss. This woman has good smut abilities. And I will say that this smut is pretty good. However, when I think about it, in comparison to Coach, because it's the second book in that series, it didn't feel as hot. And I think maybe that's because I'm too busy worrying about them getting caught in general. But I also think that their build-up before the actual smut, like the foreplay, was adding a lot, because them teasing each other was really hot. Like, it worked. It really, really worked. And yeah, I mean, also, I guess I can't really fully believe that a guy can bounce back that fast in his 30s. Maybe that's just a me thing, but also, like, it 5 times in one night is a bit much. So, like, I don't know. Overall, though, pretty good. Did the relationship in general feel right? Do we actually root for these two to be together? The only thing that holds me back from saying 100% yes, of course they're meant to be together, is the age gap. Because it is over 10 years. Now, I know that what you might say, but age is just a number. I understand. And I'm also the same person that loved Praise by Sarah Kate, which is an age gap. But I think that specifically because I have been a senior in college and am still currently in my 20s. It feels feels a bit much to be like, oh yeah, this is the person I'm going to be with for forever. I'm only 23 years old. When I was 23 years old, I could barely decide what I was going to do with my life, let alone whether or not the person that I was dating was going to be my husband, which, newsflash, they weren't. But still, that's the only thing that gives me a hiccup because Jensen is so freshly out of college. She doesn't 100% know what she wants to do with her life outside of sports, outside of volleyball, to then be like 23 in a relationship with a 34-year-old that like has a house, wants kids, wants to be settled down immediately. It's a little bit of a stretch. However, I will say Torrin and Jensen feel good together and they do feel like they have a strong relationship. It's just that for me personally, I'm like, but are you sure? Because you're a baby adult. And granted, I am also still a baby adult. I am 25 years old. I do root for them to be together because I can tell that there is something there that neither one of them has ever felt before. Neither one of them has ever experienced before. And it feels like it is right for them. So I do root for them, but I just have that little hiccup of, but is this really forever for these two people? How did the resolution feel? Does it make sense? Feel earned? Okay, so let's talk about the conflict in general, which, boy. So the conflict is the fact that, you know, Torrin and her get caught by Ford, and Ford is like, I'm obviously not gonna say anything. You're not her actual coach. Just, you know, keep it in your pants at work. What you do outside of this building does not matter to me. And also, you're my best friend, so, like, I believe in you. And I can tell that you're in love with her. Then, the volleyball coach is like, where's Jensen? And Torrin's like, huh? And she's like, yeah, this article that came out about her sleeping with a coach. And it's like, oh, okay. Interesting. So then we have this article that comes out that does reveal that Jensen had been seeing her assistant coach for about 2 months, which is why she came to Montana, because she ended up finding out that coach, scumbag, was doing it to other girls, which is nasty. And so now, like, there's an article that comes out, everyone knows about it, the Stanford coach is going to get fired, obviously, or at least barred or something, and now Torrin knows about it. And obviously he's a coach, so she's like, this isn't, I promise I don't normally do this. And the reason she kept it a secret this whole time is because she doesn't want people to think of her differently. Which, great, I understand. Your past, it's your past. You don't 100% want everyone to know every single piece that's happening in your life. But, I don't know, that feels like a big thing, especially to move to Montana over, to not tell your significant other. Or even your current volleyball coach, at least. But whatever, what do I know? And the resolution. Because Jensen goes home crying because she thinks that she just got Torn fired. The resolution is just that Torn says that it's going to be okay. And that he still loves her no matter what. And then the book ends. Yeah, I'm not kidding. The book just ends after he's like, no, we're going to figure this out. We're going to be fine. But how? I need to know your steps. I need to know how you think that this is going to be okay. Because now this girl's life is kind of exploding in her face because she has to continue to go to school and have people know this fact about her. Have them look at her like this. Have them probably say snide comments because that's often what happens in life. And the response, it's just, no, everything's going to be fine, and then we're done. That kind of an article coming out, that kind of a scandal being a thing, which has also happened in college sports previously, has more to it than just, it's going to be okay, and now I'm going to end my book. Like, I need to know, how did her volleyball coach feel? How did her teammates feel? How did, the rest of her fucking senior year go with that hanging over her head? Because we don't know any of it. It just stops. And that's really frustrating to me, to have the resolution be, oh, everything's going to be fine. And then we're not going to go into, how is everything going to be fine? What steps are we going to have to take together to get through this? And it really irked me. Yes, I am so happy that there is not a third act breakup. You guys know how much I hate them. But at the same time, I need to know more about the resolution than what we are given, because that is an unsatisfying ending to me personally. Now, if you're like, they say it's going to be fine, it's going to be fine. Okay, cool. But like, I'm a human being that is like, but how do you know? And that might be my anxiety disorder talking. But also, I feel like there just needs to be a little bit more story after that bombshell, that conversation between Torn and Jensen, and then ending the book. Because it's like, so there's like this huge gap here. And then the epilogue is just like, it's fine. I'm sorry, what? It's not just fine. So, yeah, I don't think that the ending itself makes sense, because I would like to know more. I also think it's kind of insane that the big thing is that she's already slept with a coach, because that is wild to me personally. That she's just like, I slept with a coach before, now it's fine. I moved to Montana. So, yeah. Do we think that they're still together? I mean, the epilogue says that they are. So I want to believe Devney Perry when she says that they are. But also, I don't know. I want to believe in their happy ending because I do love them and I think that they deserve one. But again, like I was saying with the age gap, it makes me just a little bit nervous. So I'm going to cross my fingers for them and hope that they are together. But I have a little bit of some reservations. How did the characters grow outside of their relationship? I don't think Torrin does. Kind of stays the same. Jensen at least starts talking to people again, which is great. But also, it doesn't feel like there's any big character growth moments. Yes, Jensen finally decides that volleyball, she's going to do whatever she wants to do, and she knows that it's not volleyball after college. And that's great for her. I'm glad that she has that moment, and I'm glad that she's able to stand up for herself and her mom. But we don't really see much growth outside of sport. And yeah, sport. And I'm not going to do sport anymore. That's kind of all of her growth. And that's a little bit frustrating. Because, like, you're a whole human outside of sport. But I guess she doesn't really know that. I don't know. I just don't think that there's much character growth. Like, I couldn't chart you a hero's journey of either of them. Nor do I want to, because that's terrible. So, anyways, back to our last question. Does it check all of my romance boxes? So we need to have strong character development. This is a half check, because there is development on Jensen's part of realizing that she doesn't want to do volleyball anymore. She just wants to go live a normal life for a person. But we don't have pretty much any growth on Torrance' part, at least none that I can think of, because I don't think he really changes outside of, I want to do this to be with the person that I'm in love with. And that's kind of it. So it's a half seas. The couple makes sense together. I've already talked about it. I think that they do in the long run. I just have a little bit of a hiccup about their age gap. Good smut. Yes, we do have good smut, like we discussed. Third act conflict feels right. I've already ranted about it. We all know how I feel. So, yeah, kind of. It kind of feels right. Kind of doesn't. Kind of don't like how it ends. But at the end of the day, it's still a 4-star because it's easy to read. So actually, we'll go over the little rating section here, which does give you like the ability to rate books based on other things. Writing style. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I love Devney Perry's writing style. It is so easy to read. It's so easy to get through. It is incredibly good to just sit there and you're in it. You're not thinking about pretty much anything else than reading the book, which I love. Relatability, I give it a 3 out of 5. I don't really relate to this situation. I've never been a student athlete with a scholarship in college wanting to fuck my coach. I don't know how much that's going to relate to anyone. Do I relate to at least Jensen's struggle of what the hell am I going to do with my life? Yes, I do. So that's where the 3 comes from. Originality, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I am sure that there are many coach-student romances. I haven't read them. And I like that it's not like, her actual coach. So I think that, but I also know that those coach-student romances exist out there. Readability, a 5 out of 5. I read this book so fast. I think I pretty much read it in 2 sittings. It was so good. And like suddenly I was done. And I was like, oh, I finished the book. Look at that. So I give it a 5 out of 5. I think it's super easy to do, especially if you're doing the ebook. It's easy to just keep going page after page. Personal impact, I give it a 3 out of 5. This doesn't really have much impact on my life. I don't know how much I'm going to be constantly thinking about it after we end this video, because it doesn't have anything really groundbreaking that makes me go, oh my God, I feel seen. So, and then the plot, I give it a 4 out of 5 because, again, most of the plot makes sense. Most of the plot feels good, but that ending doesn't feel satisfactory to me. So, a 4 out of 5 stars. So, with that said, this was our very first Moon into Saturn book club pick. I hope you guys liked Blitz. If you didn't, I 100% understand. Please give me your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below. And if you are like, everything I have to say feels more intense than what I want to put on a YouTube comment, The Discord link to the Moon into Saturn Book Club Discord is also in the description, because we do talk about our books there, you know? We gotta talk about them, especially when we're reading them, because sometimes people just need to scream about the books that they're reading, and I love doing that. So yes, you can talk to me about Blitz however you want. You can DM me on Instagram. You can leave a comment down below. You can come join the Discord and be like, oh my God, Dorothy, Blitz. And I will be like, yes, I am aware. And yeah, just give me all of your thoughts and feelings. Oh, while we're here, in case you missed the Instagram announcement, our next book will be The High Mountain Court by A.K. Mulford. This is a fantasy romance book. It's the first book in the series. I don't know what the series is called, though. The Five Crowns of Orcrith. I don't know if I said that right, and that's fine. So this is our next book pick. I am so excited to be reading this with you guys. Originally, we were going to do A Mask of Mirrors, but I can't get a copy, like, literally anywhere. My library has a 3-month wait. My Barnes & Noble keeps selling out of them, and Amazon keeps running out of stock. So I was able to get this, and I was like, oh my God, wait. This would be perfect, because everyone keeps telling me how much I would love this. So I'm excited to read this and analyze it with you guys in April. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below all of your thoughts about Blitz, all of your feelings about Blitz, if you're excited to read The High Mountain Court together. And if you like this video, make sure to subscribe. I will be posting videos a little bit more regularly with the Moon into Saturn Book Club every single Saturday in April. And I will see you guys in the next one. I love you. Goodbye. Mwah.